Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I've had this chainsaw carving tree, best part of a year. I've had this log, and as you can see it's just been getting dirtier and just looking scruffy. So the first thing I see when I come out my back door is just this scruffy log. So I've had enough of looking at the scruffy log, so I just put in stone walls on Google and then clicked on the images and that, and then I've gone from there. So what I'm trying to do is make it look like a stone chimney or like a stone wall pile of stones, and then obviously it's just going to have the chainsaw sticking out of it. So it's the chainsaw tree, but looks nice. So I started off by drawing on some shapes of different size stones, and some like longer horizontal, some taller vertically, and then some small little ones and big square ones, you know what I mean? So it looks like it's actually a pile of stones that have been put together properly to be like a chimney or a wall or whatever. So I'm just doing all the straight cuts now, so like 90 degrees to the woods and like true to the piece. But obviously if you're doing this yourself and not recording it to show people, you could do the straight in cut true to the log, so it's like 90 degrees cut, and then you can come back and take like the wedges out, take like a 45 degree off your straight cut to make it look like that's where you'd put the mortar or the grout and the gaps between the stones are. So I just did all the straight lines, so obviously you can see all the straight lines are done, and then you can see what I do to all those straight lines is basically take a wedge out of one side of the straight line, wedge out of the other side of the straight line, and then round over any corners, so it looks like bouldery stones, and just, you know, go with the flow really, and then just keep taking your wedges out and rounding them over. And all I used was MS170 stock bar, and then this is an MS170 with a carving bar on there, and you can do it without a carving bar, but like doing the tight corners would be a bit difficult without a carving bar. But you could use like file sander or something else in there if you haven't got a carving bar, or just make your corners not so tight, and if you've only got a chainsaw with a sprocket in the end of it, so like a normal bar on there. And I only used this one because it's night time, I didn't want to wake the neighbours up, so I've got the MSA 160C out there, the electric saw, and this is where I took on a big job. And obviously with ADHD you just try and get it all done in one day if you can, and you just keep going at it. And then really, like, this is probably what, about 8 o'clock at night. I've been doing it all day, so I should have just chilled out, sharpened my saws and rested after this, but I just kept going, so still didn't get it all done in one day anyway. But that's the only reason I'm using the MSA 160C, is just so the neighbours can't hear a petrol chainsaw. And it's got like a thin nose at the end as well, so it's not too bad for doing these, taking these wedges out and going into the corners. It's got like a smaller tip, and it's Pico chain, so it's the same as it's a 1/4 inch, so it's the same as what's on the carving bar, but obviously it's got a sprocket at the end, which the carving bar hasn't. So starting to look like rocks now. And with all like the corners and that of the rocks, you don't want them to look like rectangle, and you don't want them to look perfectly circular, and you know, just make a few different angles and planes on each rock so it looks more rocky. And then just go over it like you see me go over the log at first with the shaping disc. It's just the same as a sander on your sanding disc on your grinder. So it's just to make the log, like, take the bark off, and I know if there's any rock there that I need to take out, and then I can draw the rocks on. So that's why I sanded it first and after. So yeah, I've just, once you've carved all the shapes of your rocks, I made the top of it look like it's got rocks as well. And then 3 holes are what I drilled when I made the tripod stand, so I could put the tripod on there without the dogs knocking it over and that. That's what them 3 holes are. And then obviously the MTS carvings, I drew that on, so they're like bigger rocks, and I tried to keep it because I'm going to burn in where I've done the cuts, so all around in the grooves of the rocks I'm going to burn. So I didn't want to put too many grooves next to the MTS carvings, so that the MTS carvings still stands out, because that's going to be dark like all the cuts are. So yeah, now I'm just burning in all the cuts that I've made. Just, it sands it as well, so you know you can only do so much with your grinder, and it's not about getting the Dremel out and going in there with like a smaller sanding device to just get in all them little tiny corners and that. So just proper burn your grooves, it's so much easier. And then you can blast it with your Sandiflex or your sanding pads, whatever you've got to get in there, to just give it a little tickle with that after. And then whilst I was burning it, it started setting on fire, and inside it's proper rotten, so it's like dried out rot, so it's just like cork. It's dead light and fluffy and squashable, and but bone dry, and just wants to set on fire. So I thought, well, it did set on fire, so I had to get that squirty bottle in there and soak it in that, but it just spreading. It was like, as I was squirting, because the squirty bottle I squirt onto like water once I've burnt. So like with the tiki, I burnt it, so then I squirted it with water, so the dust isn't going everywhere. So I keep that bottle out here anyway, and I've got 3 fire extinguishers, but obviously you don't want to waste your fire extinguisher if you don't have to. So I've got the squirty bottle, and as I'm squirting, it's spreading the fire, because the air's coming out with the water. That's how flammable it was in there. So I'm squirting, and the air that's coming out with the water that's making it, mist, was spreading it more than it's putting it out. So I thought, I can't have that there when I'm burning stuff and that. So hollowing it out now. So once I've got rid of the fire hazard and got a majority of all the dry wood hollowed out, I went over the rocks, give them a little tickle with the blowtorch, not too much, just enough to bring the grain out and stuff like that, and give it a little bit of a sand, just get rid of a few frizzies that were left. And then I go over all the rocks to get them smoothed over. And then where I've got writing, so on the MTS carving rocks, I've gone over them with a wire wool brush wheel in my drill to brighten them rocks up. And then the wire wool leaves like grooves where it's cut into the wood, so then I go back over it with the Sandiflex to make it smooth. And then you've got pale rocks with dark burnt in empty letters, and then I'm just going over that to finish it off with linseed oil. And leave me a comment, drop me a comment if you think I should paint him grey, but see-through grey, so like watered down grey like I did on the bottom of the Cardinal. I don't know if to leave it how it is, just wood, or go back over it with some grey so it looks like stone. But yeah, like I said, drop me a comment, let me know what you think I should do. So now I'm just making skis to go on the bottom of it, so it's raised off the floor, so when it rains and that, and it's not going to get any water soaking into the bottom of it, or as much anyway, so it might soak through the skis into it eventually. But them, like the wood that I'm using for the skis underneath, it's just free wood. When they come and did the bathroom, that's what they had left over. I was like, oh, I'll have that, thanks mate. And then yeah, just drawing a line around the bottom of it, keep a little extra inch on there, and then a line of where it starts at the front of it, so where they joined. So from the bottom of my chainsaw tree, I put a little line there in the middle of the ski, and a little line up on the bottom of the chainsaw tree, so I know where to screw it into. And then get it into position so I can screw into the bottom, whack my little ski into the Triton Super Jaws Double XL, which has definitely been worth the investment. And like I say, like people like in Canada and America, they've got jaw horses. This is just the same thing, but it's like what you get in England. Pre-drill my holes so I don't crack my wood, and then just screw the skis on, and then you know you're not getting your bottom's not rotting out, so all that hard work that's been done, it's still going to last as long as it can last, and not a lot longer than just getting rotten and getting wet on the bottom. And then by this time I was a bit tired, so I've just whacked a wedge under the front of it. I couldn't bother to level that out anymore. I've had to level, there's like them two slabs that are on our level, so I would have to take all the skis off and cut the bottom of the wood, and I haven't got a chainsaw big enough to do that. I need to get a big chainsaw really, and don't do that, that's just stupid. So like I say, I was tired. So don't get your chainsaw in one hand and cut your piece of wood with the other hand, because it's just not smart, is it? But yeah, that's what, tired, ADHD, is that you're just like, I've had enough, I'm getting it done. And there you go, chainsaw tree, solid, no wobble in it, just the tips of the saws in, strong as a stone chimney. And like I say, I've started a Facebook group, MTS Carvings on Facebook, if you want to come over there and like it and join the group. So when we get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll do the giveaway. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tidy space is a happy workspace. So now I've got some tidy chimney, tidy workspace, happy workspace. So yeah, well worth the effort. I'm loving it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and come over to the Facebook group so you can get in on the giveaway. We get to 1,000 subscribers, and see you on the next one. Not sure what it's going to be yet. Might be an eagle. My friend said wants to know if I can make him an eagle.